beautiful day in Denver, Colorado. We're expecting another big crowd as the road to the Final Four continues with two games in the Midwest region. First up, 12th seeded Little Rock on the heels of a double overtime win over Purdue. Battles number 4, Iowa State. Iowa State scored 94 on Thursday in their win over Iona. What makes their offense so successful?
Well, first they got a bunch of guys that can score. 6 guys almost in double figures, so we start there. But they have a bunch of guys that can all pass, dribble, and shoot. So they get tremendous spacing. They average almost 17 assists a game, and they played together for a long time. They have tremendous chemistry. This is going to be a very difficult team for Little Rock to defend.
A spot in the Sweet 16 is on the line. Little Rock and Iowa State coming up. Moving closer to tip-off in Denver between Little Rock and Iowa State. Time now for a Powerade sideline report. Here's Jamie Erdahl.
Andrew, on Thursday, all eyes were on Little Rock and their double overtime win over Purdue. But before they earned their way to the round of 32, they were down by 14 with 3 minutes to play in regulation. Iowa State had been sitting about 2 rows up under this basket watching the team they would face on Saturday. They went to the buses, understandably so. They thought they had Purdue. Luckily, one player stayed behind. Group texted the team, guys, it's a 1-point game. Get back in here. Monte Morris came into the tunnel as Josh Hagins was preparing for that step-back 3 to send this game into overtime. Monte Morris admits that he turned to a trainer and said, "What is that shot? That's a terrible idea." Hagins buries the 3. Little Rock survives in double overtime, and they live another day to play Iowa State. Chris Beard has been entertaining us this whole week as Little Rock's head coach with the broken hand. He kisses the court in Denver. He celebrates with his team, and Little Rock now has to face this Cyclones team. Monte Morris will be the one to start defensively on Josh Hagins. Head coach Steve Prohm told me for Iowa State, one matchup of many that will be interesting today, Andrew.
And James, we take a look at the starting lineups, and Beard has made a lineup change as he will start Kemy Osse in favor of Marique Isom in this one. And for Iowa State, Monte Morris still nursing that sore right shoulder. He didn't practice much yesterday. Said it bothered him a little bit in the win against Iona. Something to keep an eye on here today for the Cyclones. Steve Prohm, also in his first year with Iowa State, he has won at least 20 in all 5 of his years as head coach with Murray State. These two schools have never met before. And as we mentioned, contrasting styles. Little Rock, second in the country, only giving up 60 points per game. Iowa State has the 3rd most points per game of any team in the tournament. They average 82 a night. Our officials, Mike Reed, Brian O'Connell, and Greg Nixon. A spot in the Sweet 16 is on the line. Little Rock and Iowa State underway in Denver.
And it'll be interesting to see how Little Rock decides to defend this Iowa State team that is way different than the Purdue team they played the other day.
Roger Woods guarding George Niang, and Niang's first shot was off the mark.
No double team on Niang. Very surprising.
Steve Prohm told us yesterday that first media timeout, they're really going to have to get together as a staff just to see how Little Rock is planning to defend Niang. First 4 minutes will be a feeling out process as Johnson puts Little Rock on the board.
Well, he's the best 3-point shooter they had. I know it looked like Hagins was yesterday, but Marcus Johnson for the season, much better. They have to contend with him also and not put too much emphasis on Hagins.
Marcus Johnson shoots 46% from deep. Again, Woods guarding Niang. Now Shoshi comes over for the double. Niang gets rid of it. 8 on the shot clock. Monte Morris with 4 to shoot. Thomas in the corner for 3. It's good.
You cannot leave Matt Thomas and come and help. This kid has made a 3 in 24 straight games now. He is the best 3-point shooter, over 80 for the season.
Somehow always able to find a way to get open in the corner. Thomas drills another corner 3. And Osse turns it over. Niang end-to-end, and the finger roll gives Iowa State its first lead.
Anytime Iowa State gets a chance to go in transition, they want to. They're top 50 in tempo, whereas Little Rock is in the bottom 6 in playing slow per game.
7 to shoot. Niang on Woods. Osse has to put one up. It's an air ball, and good defense by the Cyclones. Down 13 with 3:33 to go, and found a way to force OT and then win in double OT. Abdel Nader drives in, and he goes off glass for 2.
You know, you don't see this Little Rock team give up too many drives like that where someone doesn't step in and help, but they're a hard team to play because they have so many good three-point shooters.
7 straight points for the Cyclones. Jalen Jackson is checked in for Little Rock. Woods. They work it around. Now Jackson drives in, guarded by Thomas. Jackson scores.
You know, Jackson is one of their better scorers, but they only play him about 15, 16 minutes a game because he can get a little crazy at times, turning the ball over. You see Chris Beard go to him early in this game.
Now, Chris Beard was a longtime assistant under Bobby Knight and Pat Knight as Monte Morris gets the roll. And what Chris Beard said is that from Bobby Knight, he really learned the value of having a 6th man that they can rely on. And Jalen Jackson certainly capable of starting, but he likes him coming off the bench. Jackson, that time halfway down and out. Iowa State has 4 field goals by 4 different players. Thomas looking for 3 more. Give it to him.
He came off that screen. He knew before he got to the screen that he was going to shoot this ball because he saw how his man was guarding him. Great footwork by Matt Thomas.
A lot of Iowa State fans here in Denver. Iowa State's made 5 straight field goals. Johnson is fouled shooting the 3. March Madness, or download the app today. Marcus Johnson Jr. has 5 of Little Rock's last 7 points. Josh Hagins yet to attempt a shot just over 4 minutes in.
It seems like they're picking Iowa State up a little bit higher on this possession. They kind of were playing their packed-in defense for the first 4 minutes of the game. They feel like they got to put a little bit more pressure.
It hit Osse. Isom into the game for Little Rock. Did not get the start today after starting Thursday against Purdue, and Woods scores off glass.
He is really good at attacking you off the dribble. We saw him taking the bigger guys from Purdue to the basket with that too.
And a foul is called against Little Rock. 5 minutes in to the first half. Woods again on Niang. Niang travels. Niang in the first half Thursday against Iona was 3 for 12, but in the second half he was 8 out of 11. He finished with 28 points. And Woods is fouled, and that's the second on Jameel McKay. Monte Burton comes in for Jameel McKay. Burton, the Big 12 newcomer of the year, after transferring from Marquette. Iowa State had an early 13-3 run. Since then, Little Rock has responded with 6 straight points.
And one of the things we have to keep in mind, Andrew, Chris Beard told us he was really happy when Purdue went small.
Niang travels again. Yeah, he told his team in a huddle, embrace this moment. Purdue is matching up with us. We don't have to worry about matching up with them. Let's go play Little Rock basketball, and that's what they did. Johnson's 3 is off the mark, and Thomas the weak side board. Niang calling for it. This time guarded stops a 6-0 run.
You know, the one thing with McKay out of the game, McKay's an inside player. Now Niang can operate in the lane without people helping out. We'll see how that works.
Hagins at the scorer's table, set to check in for the Trojans. Five on the shot clock. Rutley over to Johnson. He's going to have to put one up. Johnson passes, and a shot clock violation. They were not. Steve Prohm said, we know we have to guard them for 20 to 25 seconds. They're going to use that shot clock as much as possible. That time, they used it a little bit too long. Hagins back in. He's scoreless so far. Niang cans a triple.
Well, these guys are on fire from the three-point line right now, and it's probably because this Little Rock team likes to pack it in more defensively. I think they got to come with a little bit more pressure out on the perimeter.
Cyclones are 4 for 5 from beyond the arc so far in the first half. Again, 5 on the shot clock. Hagins still hasn't attempted a shot. Passes. Hill, baseline jumper. And Nader has it. Nader spins, lost it, gets it back. Air ball. Well, Chris Beard preaches unselfishness, but Hagins still yet to attempt a shot. Nearly 8 minutes in, and he turns it over. Morris ahead of the back, and Morris missed it. Monte Morris missed a lay-in.
And that was a really poor pass by Josh Hagins that time. He's got to be a little, you could be unselfish to a fault sometimes. He's got to be able to take that to the basket.
Shoshi gets rid of it to Hagins. Burton is guarding Hagins with 5 on the shot clock. Deep 3, Hagins. And Nader grabs his second rebound.
Well, Steve Prohm was very confident that Monte Morris could stop Josh Hagins. Now, they had to switch that time. That's why Burton was on. But Morris is a terrific defender, and he's doing the job so far.
Little Rock has gone close to 4 minutes without a field goal. Shoshi on Niang, and Shoshi gets a piece of that one.
They're not, the thing that's interesting to me is they're not trying to deny Niang the ball in the low post at all. They're playing behind him, which I don't know if I like that much.
Shoshi, that's a 2, and it's good. Liz Shoshi, who was scoreless in the first half Thursday night, finished with a career-high 14 points, all 14 after halftime.
Well, think of that, Andrew. He had 14 in the second half, and Hagins had 29.
And Deonte Burton is fouled with 10:43 to go in the first. Niang with 7 early points. Finished with 28 Thursday against Iona. In that win over Iona, the Iowa State starters scored 92 of the team's 94 points. The only points off the bench were by Deonte Burton, who's going to the free throw line. He had 2, but those 92 points by starters, the third most of any team in the last 20 NCAA tournaments.
And you know, we talked about the fact that they had 6 double-figure scorers. Deonte Burton was in double figures.
First round coverage of the NCAA Division I ESPN. For more information on game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. And we have a lane violation against Josh Hagins. So Deonte Burton will get another chance. Missed it anyway. Let's go over to Jamie Erdahl.
Well, we see Josh Hagins scoreless so far, a far cry from his 31 on Thursday. Monte Morris is defending him thus far. He told us if this kid is going to score 25, he better be exhausted at the end of the day. We're seeing it right now. He is chasing him all over the gym.
Jamie, you're 100% right. He's denying him the ball, not letting him get touches. But we also know that Josh Hagins had only 2 at halftime the other day, too.
And Shoshi scores. Midway through the first half, Deonte Burton drives. Too strong, and Isom with the rebound. Little Rock a school record 30 wins this season. Woods thought about a three, and now pulls it back out.
He was open from three, but that's an example of a guy knowing what he can do and can't do. He's not a real good three-point shooter, so he pulls it out.
Morris guarding Hagins. Hagins to Shoshi on the baseline, and Liz Shoshi's got the touch here in the first half. Back-to-back assists for Josh Hagins. Averages close to 5 per game. Hallice Cooke is checked in for the Cyclones. And now Niang with 10 on the shot clock. Niang, nice looking shot in the lane for 2.
He is not only a great perimeter player facing the basket, but he's very crafty in the lane also. But you can't let him catch the ball that easily.
Woods tied up inside, hands off to Shoshi, and he's fouled going up.
And that three that he made yesterday, that went all the way up in the air and went in from the corner, was a huge shot.
He scored 8 straight points for Little Rock. They trail by 2 with 8.5 to go in the first.
But you watch how this defense plays, mostly at the three-point line, packing it in.
Monte Morris's jumper's off the mark, and McKay, who's back in with 2 fouls, gets the offensive rebound.
I like the move of Steve Prohm, bringing him in with 2 fouls so he plays a little bit, so he's not starting the second half completely cold.
Thomas from way deep is short.
But you know, McKay's a senior, so he's got to not pick up that 3rd foul, but play a few minutes.
Isom straightaway 3. Woods the offensive board. Right back up. Great defense by Burton. Woods gets it back. Corner to Johnson for 3. Deonte Burton, that's a triple and it's good. Deonte Burton knocks it in.
But Roger Woods has to get a hand up. He didn't even put his hand up anywhere.
Burton's doubled his point total from Thursday's win over Iona. He's got 4, and another strong defensive play by Burton. It'll be Little Rock basketball when we come back. Cyclones fired up. They lead it by 5 in the first half.
You take a look at this first one. That was too much help by Marcus Johnson. You can't leave a guy like Matt Thomas alone. Then you go under the screen and Monte Morris knocks one out for you. And Niang, we know how versatile he is. He does it in and out.
7:15 to go first half. Iowa State leads by 5. I know they're winning on the scoreboard. They're winning the battle of pace as well.
I think it's a pretty good tempo for Little Rock right now. When you think of this game probably be in the mid-60s at the moment.
Hagins with the shot clock expiring, and his shot is off the mark.
But the thing about Iowa State, Andrew, is you know they can get into a spurt really quickly and all of a sudden have 35.
Niang down low. His floater is no good, and the rebound to Little Rock.
This Little Rock team is such a good defensive rebounding team because they're always in position the way they play defense.
Woods lost it, and McKay comes away with it. Monte Morris is on the bench getting a breather for the Cyclones. Hallice Cooke in. McKay still out there with 2 fouls. Burton another 3. Josh Hagins still scoreless in the first half. Only had 2 points in the first half Thursday before going off after halftime. And that is Woods who connects.
You know, he's got McKay on him, so McKay's a little bit afraid to put any kind of pressure. Woods set him up by driving a couple of times. Now he takes the 12, 14-foot jumper.
First Little Rock field goal in 3.5 minutes. They trail by 3. Niang gets his man in the air. Lob to McKay and the foul. Beautiful feed from George Niang.
That little shot fake, and now he gets in the lane. The help comes up. and nobody rotates inside of Jameel McKay. You gotta stay on the ground. It's so important when guys shot fake a lot, like a Niang. Stay on the ground with your hand up. If he makes it, he makes it. Don't let him get in the...
As McKay cannot finish off the three-point play, just a 56% free throw shooter. Only had 6 fouls in the first half combined, 3 for each team.
You know, both these teams are among... That's a great shot.
Osse connects from the outside.
You know, you talked about fouls. Neither one of these... Both these teams average less than 16 fouls a game. They don't foul.
Niang for 3, and he answers Osse. Niang is now in double figures for the 43rd consecutive game.
And think of what he's done so far. He's made a couple of post moves. He's made a couple of threes. I'm not saying he's Larry Bird, but he is Bird-like in many ways.
Isom for 3. Niang fakes the 3. Drives in on Isom and doesn't get the roll. Niang 5 of 9 from the floor in the first half. Steve, how do they get Hagins going?
You know, it's a matter of him getting himself going, because really, I think he's had some opportunities. He's got to be a little more aggressive and use that step back. We haven't even seen him try to use that step back.
Hagins 0 for 2, and he's scoreless inside 4 minutes to go first half.
The other thing they could do is try and screen Monte Morris a little bit, who's a tremendous defender. Get somebody else on him a little bit.
Long rebound out to Morris. Thomas tries again.
Purdue really struggled guarding him off pick and rolls. They really haven't done much. Here comes one now. But he didn't use it.
Isom again for 3. He just cannot find the touch. 0 for 4 in the win on Thursday against Purdue, and Isom has not hit a shot here today.
And he's one of their better three-point shooters, and he's gotten some great looks in this game so far.
Niang gets Isom in the air, drives in, and 2 more for George Niang.
I know it's easy for me to say sitting here, you don't go for the shot fake, but you can't go for the shot fake. You got to see him shoot over you with a hand up. He is so good with the ball.
Iowa State fans on their feet here in Denver, and there's a lot of them. Johnson, tough shot. And McKay has it. Steve Prohm says, let's slow down a little bit. Protecting a 7-point lead.
Iowa State, not known for their defense today, is playing very good half-court man-to-man defense.
Niang for 3. On fire! By George! Niang gives Iowa State its largest lead of the game.
No shot fake, no nothing there. Just jay it in your face.
8-0 run for the Cyclones. Hagins deep 3. On this 8-0 run for Iowa State, all 8 points scored by George Niang.
And how about Iowa State walking the ball up the last couple of possessions?
Thomas on the baseline.
They need a timeout.
And they're going to get one. Timeout, Little Rock. 10 straight points for the Cyclones.
When you have somebody like George Niang, you got something big in your pocket. This kid can do it all. Shoot threes, post up, and his teammates are fired up. Iowa State up 12.
Let's see what the Trojans do out of the timeout by Chris Beard. As we approach 1.5 to go in the first.
Monte Morris is really locked in on Hagins big time.
Woods fakes a 3 into lane. Floater is good with 2 on the shot clock.
You know, Andrew, I think Steve Prohm did a great job with Jameel McKay this half. He played him 12 minutes. He had the 2 fouls. Now he's got him out. He's only got the 2 still, and he feels like he's part of the game.
Worked out great for Iowa State and Prohm. Burton is fouled down low. Back of their jerseys at Little Rock. It's all about the team for the Trojans.
Well, he's done an unbelievable job. To be in your first year in Division I, he's had, you know, Bobby Knight was one of his mentors, which is not bad, but that 30 wins is really incredible.
So is this first half from Iowa State. They're shooting 52%.
And think about this, Andrew. They only have 2 fast break points, but as you said, shooting 52%, so slowing down the game has not hurt them, but they are a terrific half-court offensive team, one of the best in the country, so they don't mind the pace.
They lead it by 12. 10 seconds on the shot clock for the Trojans. Woods for 3. Niang the rebound. 6-second difference between game clock and shot clock.
I mean, they'd rather play fast, but you're seeing it right now. This team can play half-court basketball, as we said in the open.
About the last 2 halves of basketball for George Niang. He has 35 points and 15 of 22 from the floor. Morris drives, scoop shot is good, and the foul.
You know, if you're going to go under the pick and roll, the one thing you can't give up is the drive. They went under that pick and roll and still gave up the drive. In that situation, if he takes the jumper, he takes the jumper, but he still gets to the basket. That was not Little Rock defense right there.
Farrell had 14. Meanwhile, Monte Morris at the line trying to finish off a 3-point play.
And Yogi Ferrell's the one guy Indiana cannot play without.
Morris misses. And Farrell's back in the game. A good sign for Indiana. Final 7 seconds here in Denver of the first half. Hagins. That's his first bucket of the day. Maybe that will get him going. It was a good sign on Thursday. He had 2 points at the half, came back and went off in the second. Hagins, again, with just 2 at the half here tonight as we go over to Jamie Erdahl.
Coach, this is a team that only allows 60 points per game defensively. How have you been able to score more than half that already?
Just trying to space the floor as best we can, make sure we're making the extra pass. George obviously has played extremely well, making big shots for us. But I think we're doing a lot of things good defensively, and that's the biggest key.
Having seen what Little Rock did on Thursday against Purdue, how do you keep them at bay in the second half?
I think our guys will be focused. They understand the importance of this game.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
A big one, just 2 for the Trojans. 7 made threes in the first for the Cyclones. Hi again, everyone. With Steve Lapis, I'm Andrew Catalan. As Seth Davis joked during the halftime show, Little Rock has them right where they want them, down by 12. If they're going to come back like they did against Purdue, they have to figure out a way to slow down George Niang.
Well, there's no doubt about it. But look at this Iowa State team. They got 40 points and a half and only 2 points on fast breaks. A very efficient team. But George Niang has been spectacular in this game. And the thing about him is he can play with the ball on the perimeter. He can play without the ball. He can post up. He can shoot threes. He's about as crafty a guy as you're going to find. And he's also a terrific passer. They've got to find out they got to try and figure out what they're going to do with him. And look how versatile he is. He's got the 3 threes. He scores inside. He'll take the 12-footers, the 8-footers. This guy does a little bit of everything. Little Rock's got to find an answer and stop him. Don't get me wrong, Andrew, that's important, but what's important is they got to slow this team down. They're too good. That's a great start, obviously.
Woods for 3, the third 3 of the night for Little Rock. He's into double figures with 11. Monte Morris had a great first half, 5 points, but 4 assists and no turnovers, and that defense on Hagins. And Morris misses his first shot of the second half, and Woods is able to come away with it.
I think they have to start trying to deny George Niang the ball, front him when he goes into the low post, make him more athletic. He's not a great athlete, so throw passes over his head and get help from the weak side.
Johnson shot deflected. Niang has it, throws it to Nader. Thomas just inside the arc for two.
Matt Thomas is an unsung player on this team. He's got 10 in this game. He has been terrific for a long time this season.
Had 14 against Iona, into double figures for the 20th time with 10 here today. Hagins, guarded by Morris. Now Shoshi on the perimeter. 7 on the shot clock for the Trojans. Woods around Niang, off glass. No, but Shoshi is there for the follow. Shoshi's got 10 points, coming off a career high 14 on Thursday. That was his first rebound of the game, though.
One of the problems for Little Rock is they don't really have a post-up player, so they've got to drive it, but they're not pick and rolling like they did the other day against Purdue.
It's Hagins guarding Niang here. Hagins stripped it. Niang gets it back. McKay inside, and a foul is called on Shoshi. He thought he got all ball. Your teams, your highlights, your scores, all in one. McKay comes up empty at the line.
Let's see if they're going to set a screen for Hagins and get him, try to make a switch. They've been switching a lot, Iowa State, but they're really forcing him to his right and to the sideline right now. Look at Monte Morris.
Iowa State just 3 of 8 from the line here tonight. Woods inside. Tough shot won't go. Tipped around McKay. Rips it down. Iowa State 19-3 when leading at the half this year. Trying to advance to the Sweet 16 for the 5th time in school history. And look at that. No turnovers in 18 minutes for Iowa State. There are only 2 turnovers in the first half where 2 Niang travels. And Niang draws a foul here on Roger Woods. Steve Prohm knows mid-majors well. 4 years at Murray State. He told us yesterday that Little Rock has some of that mid-major swagger. We're not seeing that right now from the Trojans. Morris. McKay offensive board and an easy putback.
That time, the offensive rebounder boxed out the defensive rebounder. It's supposed to be the other way around.
6th rebound for Jameel McKay.
I don't blame Chris Beard for taking Josh Hagins out of the game either. He's got to wake him up. They can't win without him playing.
And Johnson misfires. 44-33, Iowa State. Woods on Niang. Nader turnaround is good. Iowa State is firing on all cylinders.
But who on this team can't play offense? Maybe McKay's got to be in the lane. That's it. Everybody else, pass, dribble, and shoot.
All 5 starters average double figures, and Deonte Burton off the bench averages 9.7 points per game. Hagins at the scorer's table set to check in.
I mean, you got to understand, too, they're doing it against a team that holds their opponents to 38% defensive field goal percentage.
Out of bounds to Iowa State. Cyclones basketball when we come back. Team up for great taste. Back in Denver, 15:43 to go in the second half. Iowa State leads 46-33. Cyclones had 3 field goals this half by 3 different players, none named George Niang. They can beat you in so many ways. Meanwhile, Josh Hagins back into the game after Chris Beard pulled him here early in the second half. Still just 2 points on the night for Hagins. And he got a hand on that defensively. It'll stay with Iowa State.
And, you know, it's first and then figure out what they want to do on offense. But they got to get some stops because that's what they do.
Over on CBS, Indiana and Kentucky coming down to the wire right now on CBS. Niang's first bucket of the second half. Osse rolls it in. to Shoshi. 7 on the shot clock. Now Woods on the perimeter, guarded by McKay. Woods drives in, out to Osse, fakes the 3, and a foul with 2 seconds on the shot clock on number 2, Abdel Nader. Little Rock had a season-high 13 steals in Thursday's win over Purdue. They do not have 1 steal so far tonight.
Iowa State's half-court defense has been very good, and they are not known for that.
Hagins with 5 on the shot clock. Osse has to force one up, it's short, and Niang corrals it.
That's what happens when you don't bite on the shot fake. You force a forced shot.
Steve Prohm told us as Nader drives and is... Oh, an offensive foul. That's the 3rd on Nader.
League in the regular season, but the ACC, they've got something to say about it in the NCAA tournament.
That was Iowa State's first turnover in over 20 minutes of game action. Let's go over to Jamie Erdahl.
Well, in that Big 12 conversation, Monte Morris also told us yesterday that while that loss to Oklahoma in the Big 12 conference tournament was embarrassing, maybe it was good for this team because they got back, they got healthy, and they got their minds right for the NCAA tournament.
Hallice, Cooke's mind is right. A triple, a 9-0 run for Iowa State. Hagins off the mark, and McKay the rebound, and all the momentum in the Cyclones' favor right now. Steve Prohm saying, slow down, we got time. 10 on the shot clock. Niang almost got that one to go. Instead, he'll go to the free throw line. Niang has 20 or more for the 16th time this year. Make some noise for the... Niang, an 80% free throw shooter. And if he makes this one, it'll give the Cyclones a 20-point advantage. Already this half, 5 different Cyclones have scored, and the lead is 20. Isom for 3.
Another good look for a guy who shoots threes very well.
He's now 0 for 8 in the NCAA tournament. Morris rolls around it out. Little Rock has missed 7 consecutive shots. Woods trying to stop that streak, and he'll go to the line. Nice hand for Jameel McKay as he goes off to the bench. Deonte Burton back in for Steve Prohm and the Cyclones.
It's time to turn the heat up a little bit, make something happen.
That's what got him back against Purdue. Burton, tough shot for 2.
That is a picture-perfect way to break full-court pressure. Attack it and end up with a layup.
And a steal by Burton, ahead of the pack. Burton. Oh, I don't know what he was trying to do there.
He was trying to throw it down reverse.
Well, you can laugh when you're up by 20, but
well, Steve Prohm's not laughing.
Prohm's not going to laugh.
We can laugh. He can't. I mean, what is he thinking? That wasn't even close. How about lay it in the basket? How about forget about dunking, just lay it in the basket? Huh? It's an NCAA tournament game, isn't it?
Steve Prohm feels the same way as you. Johnson for 3. A 5-point swing on the missed dunk in the 3.
And you never know what is going to turn things around.
Once again, slowing it down.
And they got Shoshi on Niang now. Well, why not? The way you're cutting them up in the half court, it eats up time and you're scoring? What's better than that?
Hagins on the bench again for Little Rock. Just 2 points for Josh Hagins after 31 on Thursday.
I don't understand why they're not ball screening at all in this game.
Johnson leans, puts up a shot way off the mark, gets it back. Out in the corner it goes to Rutley. His three is off the mark. Isom fighting for it. Thomas to the ground. Johnson rips it away. Johnson to the hoop. And a foul is called. And the Iowa State fans letting the officials know how they feel. Denver, Iowa State led by as many as 20. Little Rock trying to chip away, but they've only got 2 points from Josh Hagins, who had 31 in Thursday's win over Purdue. Hagins hops off the bench and will check in. He'd already been pulled twice this half by Chris Beard. How do they get him going, Steve?
I think they got to get their defense going first. I think some pick and rolls. They haven't pick and rolled at all, Andrew, in this game. They were destroying Purdue with pick and rolls. And Monte Morris is doing a great job on him. They switch pick and roll. So run some screens and get somebody else on him and let him try to go to work. He's not even taking shots. But they've got to do it down this end of the floor.
That hasn't been a problem this year. Second in the country, giving up only 60 points per game. But already Iowa State with 55 and 10 and a half to go.
Nobody shoots over 50% against this team, but this Iowa State team can play some offense.
Here's Hagins. Woods right at Burton, squeezes between Niang gets it back. Shot clock does not reset, it's at 8. Jackson from the free throw line, no good, and there's Burton for the board. Little Rock has battled on the offensive glass, but they just can't get shots to drop, shooting just 34% from the floor.
And the other guy who's kind of unsung in this game is Monte Morris. What he's done defensively, but how he runs the show. He's unflappable, this guy.
No turnovers for Morris. 3 on the shot clock. Cooke's going to have to pull one up. He does. Blocked from behind by Jackson. And they call a shot clock violation. Just 4 turnovers tonight for Iowa State. And they had only 10 in their first round win over Iona. And Little Rock still doesn't have a steal after 13 against Purdue.
And you know, Andrew, that's with multiple guys handling the ball. They don't turn it over.
Isom for 3. Finally! After starting 0 for 8 in the NCAA tournament, Isom has his first points.
And he's got a lot of good looks considering he's one of their best 3-point shooters. Maybe that gets him going.
7-0 run and a foul on the perimeter against Little Rock in college.
My first recruit as a head coach, one of the sweetest, and I'm talking about a kid. You know, I've had a lot of great kids in my career. He was a sweet kid and a tremendous player, and he is missed by everyone, trust me.
Foul. Inside 9 minutes to go, a spot in the Sweet 16 on the line. Winners off to Chicago against either Virginia or Butler. That game is underway on TBS.
Now Marik Isom on Niang, a little taller.
Niang from the free throw line, soft touch for 2.
I mean, if we would need like a 2-page scouting report on him, just personnel-wise, on the things he can do. It's unbelievable.
Hagins out to Isom. Can he make it 2 in a row? No. Tipped around, and Niang has the rebound. That's his 4th. Nader in rhythm 3. Bounces over the basket with 8:11 to go. George Niang, the only player in the country with 2,000 points, 700 rebounds, and 400 assists. Just the 4th player since 1995 to put up those numbers.
And give Fred Hoiberg a lot of credit for recruiting him, because a lot of guys at the highest level didn't think he was athletic enough. This guy, he might not be a great athlete, but he can really play. Oh, look at this bad pass.
Monte Morris with McKay joining him. Morris lays it in. And Chris Beard calls timeout. The Cyclones fans here in Denver erupt. 7:53 to go. Iowa State trying to move a step closer to the Sweet 16. Time now for the degree move of the game. Iowa State moving it in transition. Deonte, Burton for 2, and the large contingent of Cyclones fans love it here in Denver. In early February, Iowa State had lost 4 of 6. They called a players-only meeting. It was called by Nazareth Mitrou-Long, who's out for the season with an injury, and George Niang. And Monte Morris told us yesterday it was emotional. People were in tears in this meeting, and he told us that we just realized we didn't know each other very well. We had a lot of different cliques on our team, and that meeting brought us all together. We put our individual goals aside, and we're all together now. And they are showing it here in March as Jalen Jackson travels.
Thomas, those 4 guys can put the ball on the ground. Now they're going to the 2-2-1 3/4 court press.
Iowa State only has 4 turnovers the entire game compared to 23 made field goals. Thomas left open for 3. Can't do that with Matt Thomas.
You know, good offensive players, they want you to trap them, because once you throw out of the trap, it's 4 against 3 or 5 against 4, and now you're going to make all kinds of things happen.
Osse could not answer at the other end, and again, Iowa State will bring it up the floor, matching their largest lead here at 20. Hagins, finally a steal for the Trojans, and Woods lays it in. 13 steals on Thursday. That's their first inside 7 minutes to go here tonight. Cyclones bringing the shot clock down within 10. Morris guarded by Isom. Niang, deep 3. Woods.
Trapped. If you can reverse the ball to the other side, there's going to be all kinds of people alone. And let's face it, Jameel McKay is a hard guy to trap because he's so much taller than everybody else on Little Rock, and he made the right pass.
9 threes tonight for Iowa State. That has been a big part of this game plan against Little Rock, who has won 30 times this year. But keep this in mind about Iowa State. Over the last 11 games, in the second half of those games, they've shot 56%, 42% from deep, and averaged 44 points in the second half. They just keep coming at you, and now Morris will go to the line. Monte Morris from Flint, Michigan, and we had a chance to chat with Monte yesterday, and he was quite emotional when talking about the situation in Flint with the water contamination. He told us no one took it seriously, and he was in tears when he was talking about just how bad he feels for his hometown of Flint. He is doing something about it, though, thanks to a local grocery store back in Iowa. This store donated 11 trucks of water. Why 11? Well, that's Monte Morris's number. 46,000 gallons of water off to Flint thanks to this local grocery store. And Monte Morris said, I know that when I'm out here, I'm playing for a lot more than me and my teammates. I'm playing for Flint. Marius Hill lays it in, 63-46 in favor of Iowa State. No foul call, delay of game. 3rd time this half. Pulls his leading scorer. Thomas had it poked away. McKay comes to rescue it.
How quick did McKay get to that ball? He's a tremendous athlete.
Niang. And then Niang commits the foul. With Mitrou-Long only played 8 games following discomfort. He had off-season hip surgery, just couldn't get it going. They really miss him. So they are not deep, but they stay out of foul trouble for the most part as Niang gets the rebound off the miss from Woods.
Well, he's another guy who could score, too. I mean, I'm not saying they would have had 7 double-figure scores, but they had 7 guys who could score in double figures on any particular night.
McKay was fouled before the shot. McKay, the senior out of Milwaukee, last year's Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Not a good free throw shooter. The foul was on Isom, that's his 3rd. 17-point lead. Hagins, finally, his first three of the night.
I mean, to me, it looks like he can get that shot there anytime he wants.
And he blocks the pass, but Thomas gets it back. Woods shoved Thomas to the ground. Now McKay and Isom fighting for it. And a tie-up is called. The possession arrow favors Iowa State. And the shot clock at 19. Ball back in. A spot in the Sweet 16 on the line. Here's Niang in the corner. Attacks and scores. George Niang with 25. Isom for three. Hagins tips it to himself, gets the rebound. Hagins quickly shoots again. Back-to-back triples for Josh Hagins. Is this going to be a repeat of Thursday night? As Johnson knocks it out of bounds with 3:49 to go. 10-3 run for Little Rock.
Josh Hagins starting again with those step-back threes.
The winner of that one takes on the winner of this game between Little Rock and Iowa State. How's this for Erie? When Little Rock started its comeback against Purdue on Thursday, they were down by this same exact score, 65-52. Can they do it again? Thomas for three, and he drills it.
What a pass. And you know what the thing about George Niang is? Not only does he deliver the ball to the open guy, he delivers it to him on the numbers so he can shoot it right away.
Woods answers with two. Iowa State quickly up ahead into the front court, and now Monte Morris will hand over to Thomas, and Morris will set up the Iowa State offense. And we have a whistle away from the ball and a foul on Isom. Well, this is something the officials have made a concerted effort to do, especially late in games. They don't want you to foul players intentionally who have poor free throw shooting percentages, and that's exactly what Little Rock did.
Oh, that's absolutely an intentional foul. Great call there. They were trying to foul McKay without time going off the clock because he's a poor free throw shooter. You can't do that.
Cyclones using clock, up by 14. Thomas cuts to the free throw line, shot fake out to Nader for three. Yes! 11-3 of the night for the Cyclones.
This is as much an offensive clinic in the half court that you will ever see.
Hagins, scoop shot, no, out of bounds to Little Rock. Little Rock trying to make another improbable comeback. Isom floater. And McKay the rebound. It's the 10th rebound by Jameel McKay, and quickly Nader on the other end.
5 turnovers for Iowa State in this game. And you know, the funny thing is I feel Little Rock did the job they wanted to do with the tempo of the game. As Osse knocks one down there, I thought they did the job with the tempo in the game. But Iowa State said, okay, we'll play half court, and they sure did.
Iowa State has played 7 guys today, and 6 of them have made a three-pointer. Niang. Oh, what a move by George Niang.
Little Rock trying to extend a little bit, and who sees the gaps? Who else? George Niang.
Last year in the NCAA tournament, Iowa State got knocked off in its first game as a 3 seed to UAB, and George Niang said, we remember the pain of last year. He said, I couldn't avoid it. Even if I was watching cartoons, somehow that would pop up. That would be 7 away from the Sweet 16.
6 fast break points, and they have 76.
Isom has fouled out. Niang has 27 points after he scored 28 on Thursday. Osse step back 3.
And let's keep in mind, they're playing a team that won 30 games this year. 30.
Little Rock is not fouling. Morris to McKay, and that is the exclamation point for Iowa State. And Nader is called for the foul while Woods is shooting a three. The last thing Steve Prohm and the Cyclones want. Yeah, the situation resolved sometime soon so he can get back in touch with the people who reached out to him. Timeout by Steve Prohm, and he wants to empty his bench with 45 seconds to go. Just a substitution timeout. And a large ovation from the Cyclones fans here in Denver. Meanwhile, Josh Hagins also comes out of the game for Little Rock. Done for the day with 8 points on 3.
And you know, we talked a lot about George Niang. Matt Thomas, pretty good. 4 assists also for him. No turnovers.
And 16 points for Thomas thanks to 4 more threes. Thomas has now made 87 threes on the year. And a shot clock violation against Iowa State with 23 seconds to go. Iowa State knocked off in its first game last year in the NCAA tournament. They will go to the Sweet 16 for the 5th time in school history. And a foul.
Prohm, a lot of credit for the job he's done, and you know what he did? A lot of people come in, they take a job, they want to put all of their own stuff in. He knew that this team was an upper-class team that had been very successful, tried to keep everything the same that Fred Hoiberg did. That's great coaching. Not changing anything is great coaching. And he will, in time, he said, I'll gradually play the way I want to play. He said, but this year, I felt this was the important thing to do, and he did one heck of a job.
Yeah, he said instead of his team adjusting to him, he wanted to adjust to his team. As you see, Josh Hagins with his head buried in a towel. Iowa State in 2 games here in Denver made 21 three-pointers. They probably want to bring these rims over to Chicago with them. They'll take on either Virginia or Butler. In the Sweet 16, the Cyclones are moving on to Chicago. A great run by Little Rock. As Chris Beard said at our year-end banquet this season, we're going to have steak and lobster, not grilled chicken. They've earned it. But Iowa State, a very impressive performance in 2 games here in Denver. And the Cyclones will go to the Sweet 16 for the 5th time in school history. Last time they were there 2 years ago when they lost to UConn in New York City. We update.
All right, Coach, first I got to ask you, you're facing such a prolific scorer in Josh Hagins, and Monte Morris holds him to 8 points. What can you say about that effort?
We challenged Monte yesterday. It's his turn to be the lockup guy for our team. Our team took a lot of criticism on the defensive end a lot this year, and we put 2 really good halves together. Monte was terrific, but our bigs were great in ball screen coverage as well.
I'm not sure I ever expected to see you tell your offense to slow down, but you only had 6 fast break points. You have to be happy with your half-court offense there.
Yeah, we executed well. It helps when you got a good point guard and a really good 4-man in Niang. They were terrific. I'm really just happy for our guys so much.
Coach, you're off to your first Sweet 16. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, over to George Niang. You're going on to the Sweet 16. You got 27 points in the round of 32. How do you feel about your team's effort today?
I think we've been counted out so many times. People kept doubting us after we took out Iona, so I think this was really like a pride thing to show people that we were really real, and we want to do that starting on the defensive end.
You're still not sure who you play next in Chicago, but when you play such a good half-court offense game, was it important to have that set in your mind that you could play a game like this?
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely for a mental aspect. You know, whoever we're going to play definitely slows the game down and likes to get in their set, so we're going to have to do the same thing. So it was definitely good, you know, in our heads to really know that we can do it.
You got great fan support here in Denver. I can only imagine what Chicago's going to be like.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. You know, tell Coach Hoiberg we're coming for him.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Fred Hoiberg made the move to Chicago in June, and now in March, his team is following suit. The Cyclones on to the Sweet 16 in the Windy City. Next game Friday against Virginia or Butler. Final score from Denver, Iowa State 78, Little Rock 61. Tune into CBS and TBS now for live second-round games. And coming up on TNT, Gonzaga, Utah. We'll send you to our studio right after these messages.
On Tournament Central, Ernie Johnson, the Chuckster, the Jet, Special K. This Iowa State team, not playing their best ball down the stretch, which just goes to show you, what does it matter sometimes?
That's right.
Look at it.
Right,
well, this team's lost 7 out of 12. I don't know. But, man, they're playing well now.
Yeah, you know what? They're led by one of the sublime seniors in the country. We've talked about this being the year of the seniors. Nobody has played as well as George Niang has in the first 2 games of the tournament. Back-to-back 28-point performances on high percentage shooting. He did everything. Teammates playing through him, pick and roll action. Old school toolbox. Low to the ground, but everything you need to put it in the basket. Jump hooks, wrong foot jumpers, post ups, he's got it all.